Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so happy you are here today. I have some fun news to share. Over at Twisted Thursday, we have a challenge going on that is a prize challenge. And our prize is very graciously donated by Decosse's Dynamite Doodles. Lisa over there is sponsoring our challenge and has given us some really fun papers and little paper embellishments to work with this month. You are going to see that this is so much more than a trick-or-treat kit. It's a very versatile set. And I'm hoping that when you look at my projects as well as the projects from the team, you'll see just how far this kit can go. Again, it's over at Twisted Thursday. Please see the blog for details. You will have to follow our optional twist, October Holidays and Colors, in order to be eligible for this prize. Over on my blog, scrappyhorses.blogspot.com, I will be showing you several different projects. So you might want to stop by my blog to check out some of the other projects I did. I did a Halloween digital scrapbook layout, as well as some other fun things. So you might want to go over there, check that out. I may even have another YouTube video for you with this wonderful paper. So let's get started with this trio of Thinking of You cards. I have 3 cards here. And they're all note cards, and they all measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches when completed. The card bases start that measurement. I have the outside and the inside of card 1, outside and inside of card 2, and the outside and inside of card 3. So let's just go over what I did here in Cricut Design Space to design these 3 cards inside and out. Let's start with card number 1. Okay, I've pulled this up on a new screen just to make it a little easier so we're not looking at so many different things. I started off with my card blank. So this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece of dark gray cardstock, or you could use black. And it starts out measuring 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then I fold it over, and that's my card blank. My top piece here is 3.53 inches by 4.64. Then what I did is I have a black piece that I just cut as a layering piece, and I'll be honest, I cut this in with my paper slicer, but you certainly could cut it in Design Space. Either way works. And I just cut it big enough that I got a little black border around there. And it ends up being approximately 3.67 by 4.78. So let's talk about these 3 pieces. Let's start with our layering piece here. It measures 3.88 by 5.03. I came up with that by coming over to Shapes, pulling in a square, then making it the measurement that I wanted, which again was 3.875 by approximately 5, okay? So I'm going to just type this in at my keyboard, 3.875 by approximately 5, and there we are. Now what I want to do is I want it to be this wonderful green paper from Decosse's Dynamite Doodles. So I have already uploaded that into my patterns. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to make this a print then cut. So there it is, print then cut. I'm going to left click with my mouse. Then I'm going to come to this square that's gray, the same color that the rectangle is. I'm going to click the word color, but now I'm going to click pattern. There it is right there. I'm going to bring it in and I'm done. That's how easy that one was. Okay. Now let's talk about these two pieces. I'm going to come in and I'm going to bring in another square. I'm going to decide how big I want it. This one is approximately, well, I can tell you exactly what this one is, 3.53 by 4.64. I want to turn this white. So I'm going to come up here where it's that dark gray, see, just like it is here. I'm going to turn it white. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to get this doily. So I'm going to go to where my upload is. And here I have my little doily that I have brought in. So I'm going to left click it. And I'm going to add to canvas. And I want to view that. I'm going to go ahead and size this down. And you know what? I know I need 3 of those because I have 1, 2, 3. So let's just go ahead and I'm going to right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate. I'm going to set that one aside. I know that I'm going to need 4 pieces of this white paper, 2 pieces this size. So I want to duplicate it. Let's just go ahead and duplicate it again and bring it over here and then we'll resize it. I'm going to take these 2 rectangles. I'm going to swipe over with my mouse. I'm going to align them and center them. Now, it doesn't matter which one, but both of these are highlighted in green over here. I want to hide one of them. All right, so we're not going to worry about that. Just keep in mind we hid it. See how the little line is through the eye? We hid that. So now we're going to bring in this doily. We're going to put it in here. We can size it up and down here with this little toggle. We can spin this around and get it where we like it. And there we are. Now we're going to take this one and we're going to do the same thing. Put it where we like it. Now, I don't want these sticking off like that. So that means we're going to have to slice these. All I have to do is swipe my mouse over this one doily and the piece of paper or the white rectangle. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to let it touch this one. I'm going to come over here to where it says slice, click slice, and it's gone. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just coming over this doily and the paper, just the corner of the paper or the white rectangle. I always call it the paper, and slice. Now I can take this away. I can take this away, and there's a white piece under here, and I can take that away. So I'm going to click on this, and there's that white right there. I'm going to take that away. There it is. See how it kind of lit up right there? I'm going to say bring that to front, and I'm going to take that away. I'm taking away this corner. I'm just going to delete all of that. Now remember the square that we closed the eye? Let's go back and unclose that. Let's open our eye on that. And there we are, exactly lined up. Now I want to sweep my mouse over everything. The new piece of paper or the new white rectangle and the 2 doilies. And I want to come over here where it says flatten. Or I could just group it. Let's just group it for now. That way I can move it all over the place and it's not going to go anywhere. A sentiment did not come with our kit. So I just came into Cricut Design Space and chose this Thinking of You, which happens to be from Paper Lace. So I brought that in from my images, and I really would like to turn that black. So I'm going to come up to this green square, or maybe just a really dark gray. I like that. So it's not quite black, but this really dark gray. Then I can make it bigger, smaller, and just place it right in here. Now I'm going to choose the entire card, everything. I'm going to swipe over the doily, the white rectangle, the sentiment, the other green doily. I come over here to the far right column and there's a flatten. That's it. The front of the card is now done. So now that's ready. Right, so now all we need is this inside piece. This is easy because we've already done everything. First, let's get it the size we like. So we know we want it to fit inside of our card. Let's make it 3.75 wide. That'll be important. Now let's come in and let's copy it, duplicate it, and let's duplicate it one more time. All right, let's set our third one off to the side. We're going to take our two, we're going to sweep over them, hit align, click center. We're going to make this one go away. We're going to hide it. So we come over here to this right-hand column. We click the eyeball, close the eye. We're just going to come in and make this a little bit smaller. We're just going to let the corner of it peek up here. So let's move this to the front. I left click, bring to the front, left click. I'm going to swing this around a little bit here. Now I have to slice. So I sweep my mouse over the rectangle and the doily. I come over here, I click slice again. Take this away, take the paper away, find this one over in this column, bring it to the front, bring it away. Let's go ahead and delete all of this. Now remember the little piece that we closed the eye, we're going to open the eye, and now that is perfectly aligned. Just to keep it perfectly aligned, let's sweep over those two and let's group it. Now this piece, we're going to keep it 3.75 wide because that's exactly the width we need. We're going to bring it up here and decide how big we want this little strip to be up here. And I'm going to make mine about, let's make it about 7.5. There we go. I want to go ahead now and take that little piece, there it is, and I want to turn it into a print then cut. So I'm going to come up here to the operation. I'm going to turn it into a print then cut by left clicking, click the white, click the color, click the pattern. There's the pattern I want. I can edit that by making it bigger or smaller. Doesn't matter. If you want a little more texture in there. Now I'm going to bring this in, move it to the front. So right click, bring to front, left click there. Now come in and sweep over these two because this is already grouped in. It's not going to move. And I can align it to the left and I can align it to the top. Now I sweep over the entire thing and say flatten. And now that is done. So card number 1, complete. Again, we have the back card base. We have a green layering piece. We have a black layering piece. And we have the front of the card. Okay, so this will print then cut. This piece will print then cut. And then this piece will print then cut. And this will go on the inside of your card. Let's move on to card 2. Card 2 is a little more complex, but not much. First, let's take it apart and see what we have. This is our card base, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Actually, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 and fold it over. Then we have this gray layering piece, which is just a piece of gray cardstock. Then I have this piece. This is exactly the way we did it in card number 1. So you can just refer back for that one. This is a combination of these. All right, so for right now, let's start with the inside. We're going to need a square. We're going to turn it into a rectangle. This particular rectangle is 5 by 3.7. I'm going to type this in at my keyboard. 5 by 3.7. I'm going to do this first off in this green. So remember how to do that? We're going to come up here to the basic cut, turn it into a print then cut. Going to tap on the little square, click color, click pattern, and choose our pattern, and there it is. Now, let's do something a little different. Let's go to our offset, and let's just bring it over to an inset. Let's square up the corner on that and hit apply. We don't want it black, so let's come up here and click white. Now we want to go ahead and bring in our thinking of you. And while I was bringing those in, I went ahead and brought in these flowers. All right, so here's our sentiment, thinking of you. We're just going to bring that down here and just slip it right in where we want it. I've already brought it in, so now I'm going to duplicate it, this little beigey cream flower, stick it right here. But now it's in front of my thinking of you, and I don't want that. So that's easy enough. I just select my thinking of you, right click, bring to the front, grab it, and just scooch it down a little bit here where I want it. Swipe over the entire thing, come over here and flatten. It's ready. It will now print and cut. There's the inside of the card done. Now for the outside of the card, again, we're coming over to shapes. We're going to bring in a square. We're going to turn it into a 4.5, 3.4. So 4.5. I'm doing this on my keyboard. I have to unlock it here. 3.4. I swipe over up here, then type in 3.4. Now I have the correct size. I'm going to turn it white. You know we're going to be doing some slicing, so we're going to duplicate this piece. We're going to line those up. So I swept over, align center. I'm going to close my eye on the top one. Now I'm going to start duplicating these flowers, and I know I'm going to use several of them, so I'll duplicate a few. And if you know you're going to use a bunch, like on this green one, what I like to do is just duplicate, then I can duplicate two, and then I can duplicate all those, and now I have a bunch of them here. Okay, so let's start. I like to start with a triangle, so we'll just start with a triangle here, and you can make them big, you can make them small, you can do with it whatever you like. So let's do something a little different on this one. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Let's do this. Now let's say you want to go ahead and play with some things with putting one under another. So all you need to do is just slide this, and you want this one on top, just click it and say bring to front. And then you can sort of slide one under another. Okay, you could play with this forever. That's why I just sped that up and just moved on to my finished project. Now what we have to do is we have to go in and slice these that hang over. So what you need to do here is you need to be very careful and only select one flower at a time with your white rectangle. So let me show you. I'm going to start with this corner, and I'm going to select that flower with just that corner of the rectangle, slice. I'm going to go ahead and pull this away. I'm going to choose this flower with just that much of the paper, slice. Again with this one. Now all we do is we pull away all the extra that we don't need. All these little pieces that we cut off. The big piece we cut off. Oh, if you have one little white piece that's still back there, you can come in and find it. There it is. See it right over here in this right-hand column? All I do now is just bring that to the front and bring it over. We're going to go ahead and get rid of all of this, and that'll make the next step easier. Now I know that somewhere over here I have a piece of white paper or white rectangle here that we have copied and hidden. So I'm going to unhide it. All I have to do now is swipe over the whole thing and say flatten. I click this flatten and it's done. Isn't that fun? Then you can do with it what you like. So it just makes kind of a fun little note card there with some flowers. So again, here's your folded card base, a layering piece, another layering piece, and your front piece here. And that card is ready, and there's your inside that you're going to write on. Okay, here we are at card number 3. Right, this is a simple one to put together. Here's our card base, and then we just have these 2 pieces that we're going to stick one on the front and one on the inside of the card. Let's start with our front of the card. And again, gonna come over to shapes, gonna pull in a square. We're gonna size it wherever you like it, okay? What I usually do to start these is if my card is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, I usually do a 4 by 5 1/4 inches. All right, so next thing I wanna do is I want a piece of black and a piece of green and my thinking of you sentiment. We've done all of that before, so let's just scroll through this really quickly. I'm going to bring in the square. I'm going to size it to where I want it. I know that it's going to be 5.25 long, so I can type that in, 5.25. And I know that the green, I just want to fit right inside of it. So I'm going to go get another shape, bring that in. I'm just going to eyeball it. I'm going to make it that green that we used before. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to make it a print, then cut. Come up here, click the gray square, click the color. These are left clicks. Click the pattern, find my green. There we go. And I know that I want this to be 5 1/4 on my height. So 5.25, and I know that's way too thick, so I'm just going to pull it in there. I'm going to take these 2, and I'm going to center. So I've selected them, align, center, and that's done. Now I know I want this all to align at the top or the bottom, it doesn't matter. And I can group that so it won't go anywhere. So here's my group. I know I want the thinking of you sentiment. So I'm just going to bring that in and place it right down here. Again, I'm going to go ahead and group it. That way it just doesn't go anywhere. Next, I want to get the little lantern in here. So I'm going to go grab that. Because I know that I just uploaded this recently, I'm just going to go right here to my upload. Then I'm going to say view all. Then I typed in DD Doodles, okay, which is what I put Decosse's Dynamite Doodles under. And there are the little lanterns. So I'm going to click that. It's going to bring me over here and I can say add to canvas and I want to view that. So here it is. And I know that this is really big and I don't need all those. So I decided what I wanted to do here was to use the gray, green, purple, and yellow. All right. So what I did is I came up here to shapes. I'm going to left click. And I'm just going to put it over those 4. Now I'm just going to pull this across. I think I want a little more string actually. So let's move that over so I get a little more string. Now I'm going to swipe over both of those. I'm going to come over here to slice. Pull this away, and now you'll notice that I have the gray over on the left side of the card. Easy enough. I just come up here to flip. I left click, flip horizontal. And now I have it going that direction. I can place this up. I can make it bigger or smaller, whichever I like. We're going to make it a little bit bigger. And there it is. Now I swipe over everything and I hit my flatten key over here. Now everything is flattened on this card and it's ready to print and cut. Now for this piece, again, we're going to sort of be reviewing again. We're going to come over here. We're going to get a shape. We're going to decide what size we want it. Again, I like my insides usually 3.75 by 5. I'm clicking these right up here, or I'm typing them in. I'm going to come over to print then cut. I'm going to left click this gray square, left click color, left click pattern, left click the green. I'm going to come over to offset. This is selected, offset, but I'm going to inset. You can inset as much as you like, so you can come way over here if you like. Let's go about right there. Make it a square corner, apply, turn it white, click up here, click your white square. I only want 3 in there. So again, I'm going to come back and I'm going to, I'll just use these again, but I'm not going to use the gray one this time. I'm going to use these 3. I would have to bring this back again if I wanted to use those 3 colors, which I certainly could do that. I'm going to come get a shape, a square, and let's just cut the gray one out this time. I want to keep as much of my little thread there or string as I can because that's kind of fun. I'm going to slice over here on the right side, slice. We can delete all of this, bring this in. Now I can just sweep over all of this, come back over to flatten, and now here we have our pieces. All right, so that's card number 3. That was a lot in Design Space, but we got 3 cards out of this, right? So let's move over to the table. You know what, over at the craft table, it doesn't take nearly as long as it did in Cricut Design Space. So let's head over and finish this up. I have sped this up quite a bit. All I have done here is put double score tape on the backs of the pieces that we printed and the layering pieces, and now I'm just layering them together and taping them on card bases, and that's it. That's how simple the put together is here. On the last card, I will add a few gems, but nothing difficult, that's for sure. As always, if you have any questions or comments about what we did over in Cricut Design Space, please leave them in the box below. In that box, you will find the information about this trick or treat kit, information about our blog challenge over at the Outlaws Twisted Thursday, and you'll also find a link to my Blogspot page where you can find some of the other projects I made using this kit. And speaking of that, here's a quick look at the layout that I did. It's a digital layout using more pieces from this kit. This one's much more Halloween. So stay tuned and visit my Blogspot for more information and more projects. Have a great week. Bye.